Hello everyone, in this video I'll be showing you a level 20 multi-class build guide for the Arcane Vanguard's ICEQUIVER mixed with the Mind Weaver's FROSTVEIL SAGE. So this is the ultimate cold build using these two modded classes. The Arcane Vanguard mod is made by Saethos and the Mind Weaver class mod is made by ZX10RX, and I actually got a very powerful combination of these, which I'll be breaking down in this video. So with the ICEQUIVER, this is about arrow attack, so ranged. But the nice thing is the FROSTVEIL Sage brings some close combat to this, so it's the ultimate ice build. So we get ourselves Ice Knife and Crater Destroy Water, as well as the subclass feature, the Frostwalker. Whenever you deal cold damage, you give yourself Frostwalk status, allowing you to walk on ice without slipping, which is going to be a key factor of this. Now for cantrips, I would recommend downloading Mistress spells. Lightning Lure, Frostbite, and Ray of Frost are the best three to go with, although if you don't want to use Mistress spells, Shocking Grasp and Mage Hand work well too. And for our spells, we're going to take Armor of Agathis here for the temporary health and cold damage on attackers to further enhance our cold. And Command is really nice because you can command them to walk into the ice and slip and fall like little idiots, so that's perfect. Now, fighting style, there's a couple cool ones. We could go with the Blade Dancer if we tuned two melee weapons. I actually have a very cool combination here, but I actually think that adding our intelligence modifier to our armor class can work very well too, because we're going to want to max out our intelligence, so this can make it very strong. So we're going to go with Read the Enemy, and we're going to obviously be taking the ICEQUIVER here. Now for our ability scores, we're going to maximize our dexterity and our intelligence here. So going with a split like this works well. So 16 dex, 14 constitution, 16 intelligence, 10 wisdom, 10 charisma. I'll also be covering gear for this as well as Act 1, 2, 3 gear, and going over combat so you can see how to use this very interesting combination. Now, we're going to start off with the Arcane Vanguard here just to give ourselves an easier start. We get ourselves the Vanguard Stratagem, so intelligence modifiers used for weapon attack and damage rolls. And we get to pick another spell here. Mage Armor can be pretty effective too, to take up our armor class at 13 plus dexterity modifier. We can also go with like Thunder Wave there, or Frost Fingers, which just fits thematically with this, giving us a close range option. And we get some Vanguard talents here, which are pretty effective. So going with the Liberated Spellcasting gives us a free spell cast when we take on an enemy, so that can be really nice to set up like Armor of Agathis again, as a it only allows you to do level 1 spells, but that'll give you some extra damage. And we get our choose more spells here. We get the Constructed Argument, which adds intelligence modifier to precision checks, which are common. You also get the Frozen Sentry. When standing on ice surface, gain resistance to fire and cold damage and immunity to burning. When you end your turn on an ice surface, gain temporary health points equal to your intelligence modifier until the start of your next turn for some extra survivability. You also get Misty Step and Gust of Wind, which is great because Gust of Wind can push enemies onto the ice and make them slip, or Misty Step can also just give you the safety to get away from a target. Now we get to choose some level 2 spells here, and we're going to go with Snollix Snowball Storm. This is a great Mistress spell that does cold damage 3d6, and that can be really effective in the mid-game. At level 4 here, we get to choose another cantrip, and Shocking Grasp just works because Create Water is going to be common for us to use. And we can take another spell here. Level 2 spells, it's kind of slim pickings for ones that are going to be most effective, so I think Thunder Wave or Mage Armor can be good. Thunder Wave, if you freeze a target, this will deal double damage to them, but the pushback is really effective. Mirror Image has some merit too for increasing your armor class, and we're going to go with an ability score improvement. However, we can also go with the dual wielder feat if we don't want to use a shield, but I'll leave that till a little bit later on because there's actually a crazy combination that I'm going to show off. And at level 5, we get ourselves War Magic. You can use a weapon attack as bonus action after casting a cantrip. We get ourselves Sleet Storm for upsetting concentrations and Grand Fly. I already got Misty Step though, so it's entirely up to you how you choose to move around. And I would highly recommend this spell here. This sets up Create Water, does bludgeoning damage, knocks targets prone, and it's a huge radius. This is one of the best Mistress spells, and it fits perfectly on this build as a great way to start off combat, setting up water and knocking people prone. We also get to take another spell here, and Summon Moonblade can be nice for a chilling short sword. You can also go with Mage Armor, or going back to even take a Mirror Image. I want to go with the Mage Armor here. Haste is also really effective. You can also, I would recommend having a Storm Sorcerer cast Twinned Haste. That's going to be a huge benefit to us, so Haste is really nice. We also get ourselves some more options for Vanguard's talent, and I think that the Elemental Cascade works best here. So whenever you attack with a default weapon attack, its damage gets converted to whatever spell cast you made recently, which means we can deal pure cold damage, which is going to be awesome when I'll show you what happens next. So at level 7, we get ourselves a Vanguard technique. After the Vanguard casts a spell or cantrip, they can make a weapon attack as a bonus action. We also get ourselves Ice Storm, which is great for setting on difficult terrain, and we get the Fire Shield Chill, which does cold damage on attackers. And we get to choose another leveled spell here with some new ones opening up at level 4. Wall of Fire. You can also go with a counter spell, which is always a good option to have as a just defensive buff and keeping your team alive. Haste, again, being a very effective one too. We're going to roll with this. At level 8, we get ourselves another spell here, and we can take haste finally. Greater invisibility is also another good option too. And we get another feat, which I'm going to take dual wielder here. So you can use 2 weapon fighting if your weapons aren't light and get a +1 armor class. You're going to see how crazy this can get with 2 staffs, because we're using an Act 1 staff that's going to buff our cold damage, and then we can further buff our cold damage with another staff. We also get ourselves level 5 spells, and we get subclass feature to the Oncoming Storm. When you deal cold damage with a spell, you create an explosion around you, freezing the ground and potentially dealing 1 to 12 cold damage. We also get Cone of Cold and Mass Cure Wounds. Cone of Cold, one of my favorite spells, so you know I love it. And this becomes really strong at this point. Now we get to choose another leveled spell here, and Hold Monster is probably the best choice here for being able to set up your teammates, so we can go with that. There's a few other options you can go with for spells, so feel free to take which one you like most. And we get to choose another option from the Vanguard talents, so we can allow ourselves to restore 2 first level spell slots per short rest. So this is good for buffing up and just overall preparedness, so we're gonna go with that. For our cantrips, we'll take Firebolt because we don't have very many fire spells, and sometimes Baromancy is the answer. And we're gonna go with another spell here with we got pretty much everything that we want, so we'll take Mirror Image here for just better armor class, as that can be pretty crazy. At level 11, we get the class feature Tactical Strikes. Once per turn, when you attack with a weapon, you deal 1d4 additional weapon damage. And we get the ever powerful Odaluk's Freezing Sphere and Wall of Ice. And get to choose a another leveled spell here with things like Blade Barrier and Global Invulnerability being 2 top choices. I think Global Invulnerability is probably the best choice out of all these spells. Typically, I take a dip into the Wizard to be able to get that, but getting it from here is also nice. Now, at this point, I think it's best to add in the Mind Weaver and go with the Frostveil Sage. So we're going to go with that, take the Frostveil Sage, and from this, we also get ourselves the Frostbite Enclosure, which stacks Frostbite, which is our unique class ability. We also get the Chillbound Strikes, deliver an unarmed strike, and be with the Icy Energy, doing 1d8 of cold or bludgeoning damage and have your Dexterity modifier. These are bonus actions and they scale upwards. We also get the Icy Finesse, allowing us to wield weapons with unparalleled grace. This passive enables the Sage to use Dexterity instead of Strength for all weapons that are proficient with. We also get the Ice Forged, granting an armor class from their Intelligence modifier, which we already got in a way, but you can also take one of the previous options for the Arcane Vanguard. And we get Frostbite, which is the big feature of this class. So certain spells stack this up, and you'll deal additional cold damage at 4 stacks. And then you can also freeze them with the Frostbite Enclosure. And as I mentioned, Thunder Wave will do extra damage to them. So this becomes pretty crazy. We also get the Frostveil Fracture, which does weapon attack, or does cold damage, and also stacks Frostbite. Glacial Arc is a good one too. Frostbite Touch will give you 4 stacks of Frostbite, but this hits in a cone, so we're going to go with those 2 options there. And once we make our way to level 2, we get our Iceborne Mastery, so you get controlled over this. And we can attack with melee range spells without getting disadvantage. We also get the Chiromancer's Reach, so upon using Mind Surge, certain spells get 18 meters range. And we also get the Mind Surge ability, which is unique to the Mind Weaver, allowing you to charge up some of your spells. Now, we give ourselves a lot of choice here. Chirogenic Core can be nice, absorbs and removes Frostbite, dealing additional damage. The Permafrost Monolith, you can create a tower which does cold damage each turn. This does require concentration for its effects. Some of these are concentrations. Frigid Burst is also nice, which will apply 4 stacks of Frostbite, which I think is really great. Hypothermic Collapse, whenever a target reduces their health to below 10, they make a huge explosion dealing cold damage, which is really nice because that does not require concentration, and it can hit really hard. At level 3 here, we get another subclass feature, Frost Incarnate. So when attacked, the Frostveil Sage reacts by transforming into a swirling ball of frigid air and reducing damage by 1d8 plus Intelligence modifier. We also get ourselves another cantrip, which we can finally take the Frostbite Touch, and we get a choice in class subclass here, or features. So the Chilling Backdraft allows you to react with cold damage and absorbs and removes Frostbite, dealing additional damage. The Cold Empowerment, whenever you're standing on a frost ice surface, you deal additional damage, which is actually really good on this build. Chill Strike, whenever you're on ice, you become immune to being knocked prone. We already got this, but increases jump distance. And Fleet of Mind will increase your movement speed. So we're going to go with the Frozen Empowerment to further enhance our abilities because we're going to be standing on ice commonly. Then we get some more spells here with the Rime Beacon being one of my favorites, dealing cold damage. And the Celestial Frostwave being another one that I think works really well, which will also stack 4 stacks of Frostbite. And we get a feat to finally max out our intelligence here, so that's really nice. The dual wielder perk did kind of have priority. And the Frost Weaver, so mastering the balance of frost magic in martial combat. After casting a spell or cantrip, you can deliver a swift melee attack as a bonus action and Chillbound Strike as a free action. So you're going to see how this all comes together. And then we can also take like the Winter's Mantle, resistance to cold, and build extra cold damage onto our attacks. You can also go with one of the other choices here, Glacial Spear, which is nice. It removes the frostbite and deals additional damage. The Frost Domain is also actually really good because this will create an area that stacks up your frostbite. At level 6, we get another choice here in the Chilling Backdraft just for this this attack here. Retaliate against the target, deal additional cold damage. So you can see, full on cold. Then we get level 3 spells here with Frostveil Singularity being one of the most effective ones. And we'll also take Kyrostar Descent, calling upon the Celestial Frost, striking a target for 6 to 36 cold damage. These frigid rays leave a shimmer of frost in their wake and removes frostbite and deals additional cold damage. Now we can go level 8 here and get ourselves the extra feat, which will give us another spell choice here with Frozen Solace being a really nice one. And we can take up our dexterity because this is going to be something that we use for our offhand attacks, and we can change out strength for dexterity on attack rolls. Now the final level, it's really up to you. If you want to take the extra 2 Mind Weaver spells, you can go with this to take them. However, I actually think that staying with the Arcane Vanguard is best. It gets us, allows us to take another spell from the great spell list that you get. And even things like Elemental Bane can be nice for extra cold damage. This one would be crazy. First time each turn the target takes damage of a chosen type, they take an extra 2d6 of that type, loses resistances. So that actually can be really nice, but we can also remove resistances by using Create Water. Fissure is also nice for knocking targets prone, but we got other ways to do that. And Bladeberry can be nice for setting up difficult terrain. Branding Smite can be decent for if you got invisible targets, that can just stop that from happening. Fog Cloud's another concentration that we could go with. Like, there's a lot of options here. I'm just going with Branding Smite. Take what you prefer. And we get to take another feat here for Alert for the +5 initiative. I want to max out Dexterity, just best for our offhand attacks. Now, you can see we got lots of cold spells. So, yeah, that is going to be a big focus of our attacks, obviously. And we got the dual wielder feat, so we can go with 2 staves. I would recommend taking the Staff of Spell Power first, taking the Arcane Battery, and using this to give yourself one of these buffs that we got here. So you can use this because that Arcane Battery is really nice. I would recommend taking that Arcane Battery and giving yourself an Upcasted Armor of Agathis, which can give you, if you got some very high level spell slots, a 45 extra health and 45 cold damage on attackers. So we become pretty much unstoppable at this point. And then what I would recommend is after you take the Staff of Spell Power, we're actually going to swap out and throw on Marka Heshker, as this gets even crazier because we can use some extra cold spells. 2 staves, pretty funny, but we got 26 armor class with this, so that's really nice. And also we're going to be going with something like, there's a few options, like we can go with the Wave Mother's Robe here. This will give us the 25 armor class, but it also gives us a free Create Water spell. But I think another great option to go with is going with something like the Robe of the Weave, which is another effective option because the Robe of the Weave will also give us increased spell save DC and spell attack rolls and 26 armor class. You could also go with the Helldusk armor, but you will lose out on a lot of points that we put into other things. But I think that the Robe of the Wave is the best choice here just because of the extra spell casting bonuses. So in addition to this, I also went with the Hood of the Weave for extra spell save DC, Cloak Protection, and the Boots Protection for better armor class. The Snowburst Ring to create ice surfaces on any damage that we deal. Winter's Crutches, whenever we deal cold damage, we put 2 turns of encrusted with frost on the target. And where this gets crazy is we can actually, I would recommend pulling out your bow and having a teammate, like Shadowheart has the Drake Throat Glaive. So what you can do is you can get someone to go with the Elemental Draconic Weapon and add cold damage to your bow attacks, so you can do range attacks, Ice Quiver, with extra cold damage, which will also create ice surfaces, and then we can go around punching and dealing a bunch of damage. So I'll show off what this looks like in combat. It's pretty powerful. Now the ultimate delete everybody is to start off with like Create Water, but we got Tidal Wave, so we can just drop a Tidal Wave on everybody, and that's just going to create water, knock them prone, and deal a bit extra damage. Once this is initiated, then we can run in with our ever powerful Cone of Cold. And I should have used Kreska's favor on the staff first, but we'll go ahead with this cold damage blast here, which did 70, 74, 58, 78, 82. It just deleted. We also create ice surface around us, and yeah, everyone is pretty much wrecked here, so that's ideal. That's exactly what we wanted. And then we can also cast a cantrip as a bonus action here, and we got a bunch of extra abilities, like we got the Chillbound Strike that we can also do. So yeah, this gets pretty powerful. We also get a free extra attack, so we can go with a ranged weapon attack, which will deal cold damage as well. And you're going to see there, it's really strong, 62 damage. We lost our frost there. That's fine though, we could just run around and punch someone to deal cold damage, because we still got that bonus action ability as well. I'm not going to go that close because it'll trigger the nether brain, so I'm just going to run back over here and just end my turn, let them run after. So they thought they could stop me with some cold or some fire, but we got the cold damage here, so we can actually just Misty Step our way there. I'm just going to run past him because he doesn't have the opportunity attacks there, but we can also use the Frostveil Singularity here, which is pretty effective. This is going to, I guess you'll see that there. Cool animation, and it pulls anyone in and then also does ice. So huge amount of ice here. We also got ourselves the Cold Punch, so we can go with our Cold Punch, which is just an extra action that we get, and we kick them in the face with ice. Really strong. And then we got like the Frostbite Enclosure. Anytime you're able to stack this up. Frostveil Fracture cantrip's also really nice. We can also go with like Wall of Ice, the Hypothermic Collapse. You got so many options when it comes to damage that we can deal. It's just crazy. So it's an overwhelming amount of choice. I would always recommend going with like a cold spell, but we got up to level 8 spell slots here, and I think some of the best ones are things like the Frost Domain, which we can pop down here. I don't want to go too overpowered, but we created ice in that area. We can go back and do another punch too with bludgeoning damage, but we also get a free action here with I'll just go with a bow attack, because we have 2 targets left. I don't want to go too hard at them, but you're going to see Encrust with Frost, that does break the cold surfaces that we got. And we also get a free cantrip, so we can go with what's cool, the Ray of Frost Arrow Infusement, and just do another weapon attack there, which you can see does a lot of damage and then recreates our ice surfaces. And then if we wanted to go absolutely crazy, we can go and do another Chillbound Strike. I'm just going to show mercy to the enemy because we knock them prone. And the beauty thing about this build is we can also just, we don't have to worry about slipping and falling. This is one of my favorite builds that I've done. It literally took me 10 days to work on this and complete it just because I was having so much fun with it. Oluk's Freezing Spear to break the ice and then recreate the ice. But yeah, we got so much damage. We got good armor class. We can also drop Mirror Image for further increasing armor class. We got the Armor of Agathis doing a little bit extra cold damage. Some of the awesome spells that we got, like the Frigid Domain here, so we can apply this. I guess they're not considered enemies just yet, so we will change that and correct it. But we'll drop down ice here. We get the Frost Walk. We can just walk on all that. I lost my action because I lost my haste. But yeah, it gets pretty crazy. They're just going to slip around on the ice like that. That's the beauty of cold builds. Personally, in my favorite build in the base game is going with a cold focused Draconic Sorcerer, because making ice surfaces is just so much fun. We also got the Glacial Arc here from the spells from the Frostveil Sage, so we can go with that. I also just think that Oluk's Freezing Sphere is just a really great option for damage. We can't actually upcast it because it's targeted as level 6 spell, so you actually can't. You can upcast Wall of Ice, however, so we can go with something like this, make a big wall of ice, which will just boom, knock them dead, create that wall, and they're stuck in it. So yeah, this is a very fun, hilarious build. It is overpowered. That's kind of something that you need to use Tactician Enhanced and some of the other encounters mods to make the most out of it. So yeah, let me know your favorite thing about the Arcane Vanguard IceQuiver mixed with the Mind Weaver FROSTVEIL Sage mod. Let me know your thoughts in the comments and hit that subscribe button below for more, and I'll see you all in the next video.